All right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, I'm Brother Brian. He's Brother Marcus here on KIEZ 106.7 FM. And together with everyone, we are the voice of the community. That's right, the voice of the community. Oh, Brother Marcus, good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh man, I'm great. I can't complain. I'm happy to be in your presence. Hey, it is what it is.
That's right. That's right. No matter what it is, we accept it and we make the most out of it for ourselves, our family, and our community. Brother Mark, we had a lot of changes take place recently, and nonetheless, no matter what comes at us, we still have to be able to chop it up, chop it down, break it down into smaller bites that we can actually digest. So tell the family what we do when we come to the community roundtable and we E.A.T.
E.A.T for us is an acronym which means evaluate all things. And I'm gonna say that again for those who may not have heard it. E.A.T for us is an acronym that means evaluate all things, and that's what we do at the community roundtable. We evaluate all things.
So, Brother Mark, I know sometimes we use the acronym E.A.T, and sometimes I know you don't consume any meat, but
Yeah.
sometimes people, they go out to eat or cook at home and they take a big old bite of chicken or steak, and then they try to take a couple of bites of it to break it down, but they're trying to swallow, but it gets caught up in their throat sometimes. And this is what we do with information sometimes. We
Oh
become
yeah, definitely.
overwhelmed with so much information. Now we don't know how to practice the element of discernment, and we just start just believing anything that's coming our way. How do we break it down?
It's supposed when you eat like that, you're supposed to let the food digest. Let it marinate, let it go through the channels so it can come out the way it's supposed to come out. Get the waste out of your system. But most times we get the information and not let it digest. That's why we don't understand. So the scriptures say, with all thy knowledge, get an understanding. So you gotta seek the real understanding of the information that you have in your possession.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we maneuver that particular situation. We let it digest. And information is power, so we need it.
And that's what we have to do. We definitely need it, and information is power. But I believe that the information that is powerful, we must also understand the power of it and use it to our best ability. Not abuse it, but use it as a resource, and understand that power should be shared.
Oh yeah.
Sometime in our community, we hold on to it. Before we got on air, we were just giving some examples how some people they for unknowingly they mimic the European style of education.
Oh
How
yeah.
the colonizer came here and wanted to be selfish and have everything for him or herself and force other people into enslavement, steal their land because they were selfish. We can't prosper like that. We
Oh
have
no.
to work together. I mean,
Oh
every
no.
time you come home, I guess you come home for to get stimulated, motivated, and you get
Yeah.
on start piping and piping to us
Yeah.
around here, saying, "Hey, we got to work together."
Yeah. This is about evaluation for me. I'm looking at everybody around me, my peers around me. We should be saving or doing something together. If we call ourselves friends, family, or whatever the case may be, we supposed to be moving uh, in an aggressive way to be able to create stuff for each other. Not I have something and you don't have anything. That's what the little sitcom Tyler Perry got. The have and the have nots.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody should have. This is a society that's for the people by the people. But if you get information and you don't share the information or share the wealth, because the people will purge. He who controls the wealth controls the world, and there's only a few people who control the wealth. So but wealth is information. We
Mm-hmm.
just said information is power. If you understand information, you can say, oh, I can utilize this to do this and this and this. But if I don't have the information and I don't have educational wherewithal to say, okay, oh, let me process this and make sure I can use it to benefit me. you know we in a situation where information is being disseminated everywhere, but you don't know what's good and what's bad information. They always the president always say, oh, that's just bad media, bad information, because
Mm-hmm.
he don't want you to understand what's really going on. Look at the situation that we in right now. We in COVID-19. Everybody's scared to death. People are dying all around us. But people been down all around us for years.
Say it again.
But we weren't scared to the point that we weren't able to move and make our economic condition to be a new reality. They're saying, oh, this is the new norm. Stay in the house. Don't go to work. How you don't go to work? They say, according to the street, they say, you don't work, you don't eat. So you got to go to work. You got to be progressive. So again, people been dying all around us. Cancer. The number one killer in America is cardiovascular disease from the consumption of meat, not being able to digest this properly through your body to be able to move or to be able to have a sustained a healthy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You see, we eating too much, we consuming too much foolishness. Same with the information. We on the internet, YouTube, and all day getting misinformation. They say miseducation of the Negro. We've been miseducated for so long because we be getting misinformation. You know, it's time to get information that we could process and utilize for ourselves to go forward with our new reality. Because we waiting on them to give us the new normal. We need a new reality. We got to do it. Us as a group. That's why I say I come home and evaluate the situation, look at what's happening with myself and with my peers and say, okay, hey man, what you think about us? What you think about us starting us a mutual? What? Mutual? That's just a fun. That's just a co-op. You know, we need to be doing this. We letting other people do it. We are part of mutuals and don't even know we are part of mutual. When you are part of a credit union, you are part of a mutual. You see, that's a banking system that they have set together that the people own. A mutual is something that the people own. So when you got a system set up like that, the people benefit from it. You dig what I'm saying? If you're a part of the credit union, but you don't go to any of the meetings, you got $300,000 or $100,000 in the bank or $50,000 in the bank, and they give you 0.05% interest on your money. And they utilize and doing other things with it in the world. And you're not a part of what they got going on. They lending people money to purchase homes. You dig what I'm saying? They doing all kinds of different things with the money that they have in their possession. And you only getting 0.05% interest on $50,000. You're getting $1.24 of every payout. Don't make any sense. But until you understand and know what this system is all about, then you can say, oh well, I'm going to the meeting. I own part of the credit union. I'm a member. When you're a member, you're an owner. Mm-hmm. But because we don't understand, we don't go to none of the meetings, don't know when the dividends is getting paid out, or none of that nature. When you're in a home owners association, you in a mutual, you know. It's a mutual agreement. You paying $45 for the homeowners association every month. You don't even know where the money is they're being dispersed to. You know, y'all don't have no block parties. Y'all don't have any. They don't pay no bills on the homeowners association. Where's the money going? You did. So we have to understand that. So when you digest this information, you say, okay, I can be able to tell other people what this is all about. That's how that works.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You were talking about the president, Donald Trump, and basically his verbiage about this type of news, but he actually says fake news. And that has become the narrative now. And now we can really sit back and evaluate all the propaganda that he puts out there, because the latest propaganda he put out there talking about he wants the people to be protected and postpone the presidential election. So when he put that out there, I'm like, wow. Something is crazy, but I think he's very intelligent because he put it out there for people to start talking about it. Now he knows what's the driving force on how to go with it. So
the man's strategic, you understand? And the world is strategic. The people who control the world is those who got the power, who got the information, and they holding on to it and saying, okay, we're gonna use this for us. I heard the richest man in the world, Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. He said he was doing an interview. It was a documentary. He was riding a little old Cadillac, got a modest little home that he paid $300,000 for, but he owned Berkshire Hathaway, a mutual, a fund, you know, that own a whole bunch of different other businesses. You understand? I was like, wow. He said, look, the people who have the money in our possession This stuck with me. Say we would never lose it. The people who have the money in our possession, we would never lose it. It means that we talking about how we use finance, where it's going, what needs to be done. You see what I'm saying? What who we gonna lend the money to? You know, who is credit worthy or lending out our cash flow to? Berkshire Hathaway own houses all across the country. You understand? They own Geico Insurance Company. You dig what I'm saying?
Clayton Homes.
Clayton Home. All of these different things, man. They provide an avenue. It's two men sitting in the corner. You know, older gentlemen. You don't see his right hand man with him, but it's the older gentleman that always be with him. You know, that helps give him an understanding of what they should be doing with the cash flow.
Yeah, advisors.
You know, his children not even involved. You understand? These are the minds and the networking of men who understand finance and knowing how to create an avenue for people. We so scared today, we not even going back to work, and we can't afford not to go to work. We waiting on somebody to give us $600 a week for unemployment. Then they say they're gonna cut it. They give you $247. You dead. $247 a week. Man, that's almost $1,000 a month. You rent that. You understand?
Yeah, you make a valid point talking about Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, and also I believe that when you become when you buy stocks in his portfolio for the past 15, 20 years, he has not paid out. And that makes me curious where I think one of his stocks is worth over $100,000 a piece for you to buy into it. And he hasn't paid out for over 20 years. But if you and I try to attempt to start a mutual fund or some type of co-op, people want us to pay out the very next day.
Yeah, we got a problem. You can't, and some money in some funds you can't take your money out of. Your 401k, you can't take your money out of. They penalize you.
Yeah,
putting it in there, they penalize you. But if me and you start one, we should be talking about how it works. Okay, 6 months. If you invested 6 months after you invested, if you want us to pay you out, we give you your 10% interest on these businesses that we own, you know. But you stay in and get a residual check every quarter that we produce profit. You understand? But we have to sit down and do this. Area Mutual Fund is a Black-owned mutual fund. We not involved in it because we not educated about it. You know, we're supposed to be controlling that those $13 trillion that come through our hand every year. Now, the COVID-19, we ain't got no money coming in. We so scared. We don't know. We losing our houses. We losing our cars. You know, I ain't going outside. We on the forefront. We got to go outside. We have to go outside because we don't have those jobs that you can work from home with. You know, so stay in the house, work from home. You ain't got no food in the house. You sitting in the house just, you know, nervous because you don't know where you're gonna get your next meal from. If the CARES Act don't kick in and say put some more money in the fund that's providing housing allowance, then you don't know how you're gonna pay your mortgage.
Yeah, you make a very valid point with this new bill that they've been negotiating on all weekend for the past couple of months. And we're talking about, you mentioned about jobs. You're right. Having a job, having employment, whether it's self-employment or being employed, should be our number one resource, because we can't generate anything without generating an income. Anytime you're not bringing in funds into the home, but funds are steadily going out, it becomes a deficit. You become broke, and that's not where we want to be. So our number one resource should always be at the state of focus on becoming employed or self-employed. And by us doing that, and now, like you kept mentioning that we've been told to stay home for protection. I get it. I promise you I do. I don't want anyone to get sick or anything, but we're at a stage now we have to learn how to deal with it. But you're right. People have been getting paid for a period of time with this extra unemployment. Now, as they start to cut it off, now people are questioning, well, what should I do next? And now, because let's take what we're talking about, a job produces rent, insurance, safety, education, transportation. It allows the world to go around. So if if it's a circle, 10 of us in there, you and I, if we're not working, so now we can't contribute to that circle. So it reduces the amount of the flow in that circle. And so we have to continue the flow in the circle. The only way we continue it is by creating an income and by putting in and continuing the flow in there. And so now they say work from home. I mean, if you're in the hospitality business, a service business where it's face to face, hands on with the customer, number one, there's a reduction of customers coming into your business. Number two, I can't work from home doing that type of business. So now, where does this put me at? In a deficit. So now I have to apply for government subsidy. But if it's not available, what do I do? Number one, we're gonna eat no matter what. The person will eat by any means necessary. So we have to get to a stage where we become self-sufficient and codependent on one another by circulating that dollar in our community. Stop thinking selfish. No, I want to make a dollar. I want anyone else to make a dollar with me. No, you make you some and contribute and do business with your neighbor.
Yeah,
that's what we have to do.
Yeah, because you make you some and then you put yours on Instagram. I just made $1 million. Dude looking for you. I don't know if you know. Yeah, I don't know if you know, you heard about the young guy that's a rapper, Pop Smoke. He out of New York. He got killed. He posted a package on his Instagram, and 3 dudes came, snuffed him out, robbed him, shot him. You understand? Because they the have nots saying, okay, he got it, I'm going to get it. You understand? If you don't have a system put in place that feeds everybody, then it's a dog-eat-dog world, you know. But we don't have to have a dog-eat-dog world. If I got a fish farm, you got a chicken farm, and my partner has a cow farm, you know, we circulating food or product, you know.
Barter system.
Yeah, we circulating and we selling it to people that needs it. Mm-hmm. Other countries need this product. Other people need this product. Yeah, we producing something. But you have to understand that it takes capital, cash flow to be able to create a fish farm. You know, we want to create a barber shop, a beauty shop. Oh no, it's other entities that we can create that generate real large sums of cash that everybody can eat off of. Everybody eat fish.
Bring up a valid point. I was talking to my partner the other day, and she and I were talking similar to what you and I talking about. And I was just sharing with her that it's at our age group, because we are the leaders now in our community.
Oh, definitely.
So we have to be in a position where the youngsters see us as role models. And what I mean is that we have to own the insurance companies. We have to own the car dealerships. We have to own the grocery stores. We have to own every industry in our community. We must be the majority of all the teachers in our community, because the young people growing up, they're looking at this. And as they look at this, we become subconsciously their role model, and they're going to mimic that one way or another. But in the event, if we become deficit in our actions, in our duties, and we do not become the leaders in our community by being the employers, so now they will always think subconsciously someone else is supposed to be the leader. Someone else is supposed to be the provider in the community. And then we're killing our own communities.
Oh, yeah, but I'll be begging from the master's table, trying to get the crumbs. We Lazarus, lazy, shiftless, and doing nothing. That's why when we created Supreme, I never let it go, because of the concept of Supreme, the building itself, the being able to be on Front Street, showing the young brothers, oh man, you can create your business. We did it. We got 5 different entities in here. You understand? We got multiple things going on. So you create those avenues, and then you bring the young in and say, look, this is what you can do. This is how you should do it. And this is where we going with it. You know, give them some effective information that shows them that they can create and be successful by creating. We don't got to be dope boys. Everybody want to be a dope boy. Man, get out of here. Everybody's not successful selling drugs. You understand? You go off to the NFL, make you $30 or $40 million. Then you come home from the NFL and say, oh, I want to sell drugs now that I got some money. No, you need to think bigger than that, man. Who control the world, and what are they providing? You got to provide something. You know, it's sad to see that we not producing houses or housing like we should. You know, we got south side of Monroe, south side of every city in the world. They looking for somebody else to produce the house. Man, you got the money, you got the cash flow, utilize it to build, and then get a revenue coming in that pays the next person some a dividend, the next person a dividend, and everybody is eating from this project that you build 300 units in, or 300 residential housing
Right.
that you built for a community of people. All of them own their own house. You know, this is easy. It sounds hard, but it's really easy because you create that capital. Once you create the capital, which is the mutual or the funding, then you can lay the groundwork for all the other things. Being able to create grocery stores in your community, being able to provide automobile dealerships in your community, you know, have a nice infrastructure. You know, why we keep waiting on somebody else to give us this? We don't have to do that. It's again on the south side of the city. It's 20,000 residents just on the south side of the area. You know, pool your resources, pool the funding in the middle. Put somebody over the financials and say, okay, this is what we doing. We buying back our block, one house or one lot at a time. Then we from there, food, clothing, shelter is the key to society. Food, clothing, shelter. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if you provide food, clothing, shelter, you don't have to worry about having no income coming in, because you'll have income coming in for the rest of your life. You know, you just got to know how to share the wealth. You know, information is power, and how you digest it is the key to where you're going next. You know, like I say, I always say the revenue, the capital, because that's the key to this world. The money. He who controls the finance control the world. Now, how you control the world is get you a part of the finance and a part of this land. We always talk about housing, right? We always talk about house, but all you own on the house is the house, the residential home. You own the house. You never own the land. You know, when do we come up with a new concept of how to own the land and the house? See, these people set up this paradigm. We got to break it down. Well, you own the land and the house after you purchase it. You don't have to pay no more taxes on it. You understand? It's got to be a new reality, and we have to lay that new reality down. Ain't nobody else gonna be able to do that except us. You know, we in the different cities. We make up 30% of the population in America, and we in every city in America, but we don't own hardly anything in those prospective cities that we live in.
Yeah, I know we read a report, and one of the reports said this was shocking to me, and don't quote me on the numbers, but it said that the majority of homeowners are in the South, if I read that correctly, versus like the North or the West or the East. And even at that number was still a very disparaging, because it was still low. I think 20 or 30% of homeowners.
Yeah, and in certain areas, in certain states, we like in Alabama, 36% homeowners. Across the board, blacks are 41% to 50% homeowners in America. Guess what the European is, the white man is? They 71 to 77% homeowners, because you know their credit ability to get the finance from creditors who lend them the money because they set up the system. You know, we still get racial disparity when it comes to somebody giving us a line of credit to purchase a home, a line of credit to build a house, you know, a line of credit to start a business. You know who own the credit companies? We don't even know who the number one creditor in America is. Visa. Who is it owned by? You know, we got to ask these particular questions in order. That's the process of setting up a new paradigm, a new understanding of financial wealth, or how to use it. Who owned Visa? When did it start? Who created it? How many, they had over 100 million transactions happen last year. They made over $6 billion off the transaction. If I got a credit card, $500 credit limit, and I go in somewhere and purchase, and the credit limit, the APR on it is 14 to 23%. They're gonna give me the high end 23%. If I buy something for $100 and they get 23% interest on it, now they make $23 off the purchase. I went and bought a pair of shoes. You understand? A pair of shoes. Now they got me $123. Now if I don't pay that in a timely fashion, that $23 increases to another $13 more. So now they got you study running behind the debt. You behind the 8 ball. You bought a steak, took your wife out, your girlfriend out to dinner. Steak dinner cost $100. You $123 when they gave it to you on credit. See, we got to understand this process.
But you had a good time though.
Had a good time, but you in debt. You ate the steak, you feeling good, but you in debt behind. But once we understand that, somebody's giving us a line of credit to be able to purchase a home or create a business, but they're not giving it to us. We have to give it to ourselves. They go look at our credit history. Oh, you ain't never had, you never owned anything. You never bought a car. You never purchased a house. We can't, your debt to ratio too high. We can't lend you $100,000.
Whoa. Hold on. Debt to ratio. Now, I mean, what is that?
When you in debt, you bought that steak. You already owed me $123. You ain't paid that down. So your debt to ratio showing that your car note is due, your house, your rent is due. You got $3,000 going out, but you only got $2,500 coming in. So you $500 behind the 8 ball before you even get your next paycheck. You see what I'm saying? So,
brother, I know you think fast, you move fast, but let's break this down. We're talking about that taking the family out to eat, and you're right. It brings great memories. However, that's that memory at that moment. Now, a month later, when you don't pay that bill, there's another memory that also comes with that. Now you're in debt. So that happy face can turn to a frown within a 30-day period. This is the same thing that happened at the end of each and every year around December 25th. And then the bills start coming in the middle of January. Now all that happiness has turned to frowns because of these debts that we are accumulating. So we're talking about 23% interest rate on credit cards that we go out, make all these purchases. If we don't pay it off in full, we pay the minimum amount. And now we're still practically owing $123. And also, we forget to add, do not be late now, because if you're late, now you got a $30, $35 fee. Now that's where it really starts to build up with these fees. Some type of cards. I never thought of it till you just mentioned it. I understand branding, but you're right. Who is MasterCard? Who is Visa? Who is these other? Now, of course, they're backed by different banks and all of that to put their brand on there, but how do we get into the mindset, or how do we allow people to put us into the mindset of this thing called a cashless society, where we start using these cashless transactions and we got to pay fees, and we don't really try to, I guess outside of a few people, we don't talk about these fees. Oh, no. We talk about what the credit card has done for us. Oh, I got this new pair of shoes, or I got this new car. But if you're going to borrow some money that can create assets. But we don't talk about people going to the bank, they're giving us money for homes or money for businesses. We talk about cars and things like that depreciates. Yeah, clothing, jewelry.
Yeah, when you go to the bank, you got a credit card for $100,000. You can build a home on that credit card and sell a house for $200,000 or $250,000. You can build a house for $100,000.
So now you're talking about leverage.
Leverage. Yeah, when you got cash flow, you know how to utilize it. You understand? He gave me $100,000 line of credit or $200,000 line of credit. I build 2 houses that's 1,800, 2,000 square feet, and I sell them for $220,000 a piece.
But the people gonna say I got a 23% interest.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay it back immediately once I sell the house. I'm gonna get them their money right back.
Oh, so I shouldn't parlay and live in it.
No, I shouldn't parlay and live.
This is a business transaction.
I'm gonna build another one. I'm gonna build another one until I got the cash flow to build my own. You see what I'm saying? Now you're doing business. Again, we talked about Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said when he bought Geico and everything is backed by insurance, right? Somebody died, we got an insurance policy. You got an insurance policy on me. I got $1 million+ insurance policy. I die, boom. I got $1 million that I can disperse to my family members. Here you go, 25,000 or 100,000 to my daughter, 100,000 to my son. Now, what you gonna do with it?
People get nervous, start talking about that life insurance, bro, Marcus.
But life insurance is what you need. We need it.
It's a necessity.
That's how they got rich. That's how they pass on wealth. You understand? You pass that insurance policy out to your siblings or to your children or whatever the case may be. Now,
so I want to make sure people know how you're breaking it down. You're talking about leaving a legacy.
Yeah, they got cash flow.
Earning a living. You're talking about generational wealth.
Oh yeah,
and it's done through investment.
Yeah,
and the investment, the key component here is you're talking about an insurance policy, because what we all will leave this earth. That's a given.
Oh yeah.
So
and then you got to invest in yourself. I heard Jay-Z say, "I'm a businessman. I mean, I'm a businessman." He was talking. I'm the business. So if I got $1 million insurance policy on me, then I pass it down to my children. They got some cash flow and they got some information, some wealth to be able to start them a business, create them some wealth. You understand? And just keep on, and he has insurance and his daughter has insurance, and you keep on passing it down. Generational cash flow.
You breaking it down, you making sense, because we said the greatest resource is being employed or self-employed. Well, ultimately, the greatest resource is the individual. So if you go out and purchase any asset, you normally protect it. You go purchase a vehicle, you protect it with insurance. You go purchase a home, you protect it with insurance. You go purchase high-value jewelry, you protect it. Guns, you protect it. Everything you normally protect with insurance, except for some reason, we don't protect ourselves with insurance because we get so spooked out. But we are the #1 generator for anything that's around us. So why not protect it?
Hey, the white man know everything about the insurance business because he created it, right? So check this out. NFL players, they start quarterback, they say they're gonna give him $60 million, right? I give you $60 million. I'm gonna go put some insurance on you that's worth the $60 million contract I just gave you. Yeah. So you go break your arm or something happened to you, I'm gonna get paid with the insurance money. I put a bond on you. You worth something now. You see what I'm saying? They tell you don't go out there and get hurt. You break your arm. Oh, he broke his arm. Don't worry about his injury reserve. They getting paid for while he's sitting on the sideline.
Yeah, the Lloyds,
Lloyds of London.
Correct. Yeah, I think T.I. just did an interview because he's attempting to create a letter along with Ice Cube. They're creating separate letters about the repayment for the Black community. But T.I. was focused on going after the Lloyds of London because a lot of people don't understand during the transatlantic slave trade, insurance was on the slaves at that time coming from Africa. Oh, yeah. They bring 1,000 slaves and they expect 1,000 to arrive in America or wherever, and only 300 made it. The 700, they were insured.
Oh yeah.
So you protect what's valuable. So I mean, you're exactly right. That's a conversation that we have to have on a regular basis for our community to truly understand that. Don't think of it as being spooky. It's about protecting your investment and leaving a legacy. Because if I'm married and it's my duty to protect my family, my duty doesn't stop just because I'm not living here anymore. No, I must create something so they can continue on. Because now that income I'm providing is going to be taken away. So if I'm in business with someone, we as business partners need to have insurance policies.
Oh yeah.
But that's a deeper conversation. But yeah, you're right. Everything of value is being protected.
Yeah. See, they got us focused on misinformation. We worried about everything else, but what's real? What's real is we got to get back to normalcy. Being able to function in this world of disease.
You know what they got us focused on? They gave the people $600 extra. Now the people are so upset. Now they're gonna end up giving them $200 or $300 extra, and they're gonna start to pacify themselves. But we got to get out of that frame of mind of just being passed down something. I know it's tough. We got to create something.
And we
Now,
got to go back to work, man. They say we the first one. I mean, the last one hired, the first one fired. We really finna get fired now. So if we don't create something in this pandemic that that's, that can sustain us as a people to be able to keep the other future generations alive, then we're gonna die in our ignorance because we don't understand the process. This is a process, but it's a process of information and being able to discern the information or digest it, the information like we eating. You got to digest this information and then have a plan of action, put something in place that you can eat off of. You know, eat for the rest of your life.
generation to
We're
generation.
supposed to have something that we can eat off of for the rest of our lives. It's something that we produce that we the biggest form. Sugar. We consume sugar like crazy. I remember when we were young kids, sugar cane. They used to sell sugar cane stalks. We just need to figure out what we can produce in our communities that's a necessity in society. You know, sugar is a necessity. You know, we need something that we can produce that's a necessity. You know, it is what it is, man. We got to sit down, start the dialogue, and go to work immediately. We can't wait to go to work. We got to go to work with our plans immediately.
Well, I think this is one of the challenges in our communities, but and I need you to hear me out on it. We have been spoiled for so long with a number of years being spoiled to leadership. We have had people in leadership, elected positions for so long, and now we look up to them for every darn decision because we've been spoiled to leadership. However, we got to focus on economic value in our community. Like you and I, before the show, we were talking about people that are the leadership before us has changed, elected positions, but your focus has always been on who's properly knowledgeable in that position, not just to be seen due to the popularity, but who's properly prepared to not go through a learning curve for 3-4 years and want another opportunity. No, you got to come in now and make a profit today.
Or you got to get the ground running. If you don't understand what you're doing, you shouldn't run for it. You shouldn't be in leadership position because qualification is the runs the nation. You got to be qualified, certified to run any position that you involved in. You're not gonna elect a bank official that don't know anything about the finance industry. He the head of banking for Monroe Banking, and he never been in the financial industry in his life or her life. No, sir. No, we put in a qualified person that understand return, that understand finance, that's gonna put things in place that everybody makes money off of. We was talking about a mutual, right? And I found the company. It's not in America, it's in London. That's a mutual company. They own 57 stores. It's called John Lewis. Look it up. They started in 1928 or something like that. But the owner is John Lewis, and his son came in and said, "Dad, we need funding. We need to find some funding." He said, "Well, invite the people to be owners." And they invited people to be owners, and those people are still members and owners of that particular brand to this day. 1928, they got 57 different locations. They own a host of other different things because they pool their resources and utilize their cash to be able to create a new reality for the people who own the business. This business is still going on to this day. John Lewis, right? A mutual. They started a mutual company, became members, and everybody shared in the process. That's what we have to do. Find something that we can share in the process and grow it to become successful. That's how this works. You got people that got millions of dollars, but they don't know how to utilize. They letting other people utilize it. We got to utilize our own cash flow.
And it's definitely available because as we talk about crowdfunding, we talk about selling stocks, to build up the economic base is definitely there in many different forms. And what it's going to take is individuals working together with a common goal. And as we establish that common goal, one of the major factors is going to have to be trust.
Oh yeah.
Because without trust, we can't, even in a small family, husband and wife, there's no trust, it's going to diminish. It's going to tear up. And so imagine that on a macro scale from a city, a country, because that's what we have now with the current higher forms of government. I believe it's a lack of trust. People that are in position, but they're not being trusted. And so now we got to look at that. We're in a position, we follow the trust. I'm sorry, we followed the leadership of our government and asked us to stay away from our businesses and to stay in the home. And now the situation that we're in today as a state of Louisiana, we're at an eviction crisis. How do we get to an eviction crisis? Number one, you just got through sharing with us about credit/home ownership. But if you were in if you owned your home, you had a period of time not to pay your mortgage. However, now we're at an eviction crisis, really dealing with renters. And so now, according to, I read that there's about 55% of households that are at the stage of possibility of eviction in the state of Louisiana starting next month. And so, I mean, what do we do? Because if people are not paying their rent, taxes are not being paid, mortgages are not being paid, insurance is not being paid, money is not circulating. And when money doesn't circulate, it becomes a major flaw in our economic circle of opportunity. And so now people are not happy because what does a home provide? A home provides a roof, security, peace, sanctuary, a place to fellowship. It gives you a peace of mind. So imagine having this letter arrive at your door saying that you are at the stage you no longer can stay here, you're being evicted. And so now you know that if we're in a situation where we're not even working, so we cannot generate the money. So we have major challenges that we have to deal with and deal with it today because it's going to hurt our smaller communities and also our larger communities.
See, we should have been properly prepared for this. You know, when things happen like this, we should have been lining up the situation so we can pay our rents when a calamity or crisis come. You know, back in the day, they used to have rent porters for certain people. You know, they couldn't afford their rent. Everybody come to this particular house and pay $10 to get in, and that person have their rent money for the following month, and the next person will do the same thing the next week. You know, but again, we have to have an avenue where we have funding already set this aside for these kind of situations. I was looking at one incident where a grandmother in New Orleans was getting evicted because her daughter had passed or was killed, and she came into the house and stayed with her daughter's two children. She moved into the house and tried to stabilize everything to get everything moving forward. And they came and say, look, you ain't been paying the rent, you got to go. This is a terrible situation here. The cash flow ain't there. She don't have any money. She moved in to try to stabilize the children. Man, she don't got enough cash flow to pay the rent. Who's gonna come to her aid? Those kids and her are out on the street. We have to set something to the side for this, for when pandemics happen, for when crisis happen. You know, we can't allow.
That's the family savings plan you talk about for so many years.
Extended family fund. You know, we always got to have that. We should, if you got a branch of your family, it's a bunch of y'all you having family reunion, and you got these family reunion T-shirts on that cost $25, and you making sure that they get them. Get your shirt. You better have your shirt. Now, bring that $100 that you're supposed to bring in every month to the family. Bring it in. 25 of us saving $100 a month. We saving some real cash. Now we got stuff in place. So if something happens to somebody, we can take care of it immediately because we save $25,000 a month by sharing $1,000 a month with each other. You see what I'm saying? $25,000 a month is a lot of money. Times 25 people for 12 months. We eating. You got cash flow in place. So when the eviction come, oh no, we're gonna pay the rent. Oh no, we own this house. You can stay here.
Yeah,
You
family
know,
house.
yeah. They say we talked about the 71% or and the 78% of white people owning homes. They say the 71 and the 78% they either own one or two houses. They done been in place. They done had two houses before. We still just trying to get our first home. You know. So we got and the creditors that's lending them the money is the creditors that set up the credit system. See, they got this credit system set up. FICO score. You got to know your FICO score. Who is FICO? How did it develop? This is a company that started in 1989. That's just 20 some years ago. 31 years ago, they started this company. And now they determine what's your credit score look like. They use 3 other companies to determine your FICO score, Experience, TransUnion, and one other company. And they say, oh, yeah, he ain't been paying his bills, or she ain't been paying her bills. Then they say, oh, no, we can't lend them we can't get them any credit. We can't get them a line of credit.
Now, you know what kills me about that whole system is that, all right, say if you have a vehicle and you're making payments and you get in a situation, willfully or unwillfully, stop making payments. So now they repossess that asset, number one. So now you're hurting because of that. 2, now they want to penalize you by putting it on this so-called credit reporting, send it to this credit reporting agency and report it on your credit report. So no one else will be willing to give you credit. So they're trying to double penalize you, saying, and this is the reason I bring that up is because this is the mindset of America. America, you take someone who has violated a crime. They've done their time to society. And so now they have to carry that label for an extended period of time in order to penalize them for future years. There's no fairness in that system. So going back to the asset, if a person doesn't pay for it, confiscate your asset and resell it for a specific amount. And then if they owe a deficit, attach some type of attachment where you can get the rest of it paid off through a lawsuit or whatever. But why continue to penalize someone for a period of time? To me, it's a theory of trying to harm a person for future years, never allowing them to come up.
Yeah, we take that. We need to take that away from them, though. We take that away from them by creating our own credit system. You know, millions and millions of dollars set to the side, 10% on the APR. We charge you 10% for using our dollar instead of 23%. But this your dollar, a black dollar. They've been telling me they were gonna put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. Let's put on it, and let's create our own dollar. You know, let's create our own line of credit. Let's stop allowing people to do this for us. We can do this ourselves. You know, 30 million people, $30 million a month. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
$1.
Let's break it down a little bit further because I know you're in the home building industry. So check this out. A real estate appraiser, they actually appraise a home and they decide what the value of a home is, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now, you take whatever that material that's needed to build a home in South Monroe and the same material in North Monroe, but you go buy the material from a local building supplier, say a Lowe's or a Home Depot. Now, have you ever been to a Lowe's or Home Depot when you building a new home and they give you a reduction or a discount if you're buying it on the south side of Monroe versus the north side of Monroe?
No.
Exactly. So, and the cost is 100% the same, but when it gets appraised, you get 2 different values.
Yeah.
Because we are locked into that system, we don't really E.A.T on the system. We just accept the way it is, and we build a home for $150,000, but it appraises at $99,000. And the opposite in another part of town where you spend a $99 on it, but it appraises for $250.
On the north side, normally on the north side.
Total disparity. But we don't converse about it. We don't put in much thought about it. We just accept it.
That's why we got to become appraisers. We have to become appraisers. You know, we only make up like 1% of appraisers in America. You know, and it's not a hard process to become an appraiser. You know.
But you say your saying has always been, anytime somebody got to get that L, they just get terrified.
They get terrified to go get them licensed. We need to be licensed to do everything. You know, I just told you the world run on certification, license, qualification. If you're not qualified if you're not qualified to run a restaurant in Monroe, you think you're gonna be qualified to run one in Houston?
That's what they
No.
say.
You know, you got to go get the paper. You got to go get
Credentials.
the credentials to be able to open up the location. You got to determine if you hold out a piece of meat for 3 days, how many days you can hold it out and put a stamp on it. You got to know all of this stuff. They send you to a little school to get your license for it, to be able to have a restaurant or whatever the case may be. So you got to go get qualified. So again, we have to get the information, digest it, and then regurgitate it, throw it up, and put us a system in place that protects us. We got to put a system in place. We keep talking about systemic racism. That's a systematic racist system. You see what I'm saying? Oh, we could stop crying about it, erase it, because we can create our own system inside of systems and provide stuff for ourselves. SOS, saving ourselves, easily done, overnight, immediately. Put the qualified people in place that can make this thing work to benefit a group of people. Other people do it. Other people do it. See, because we went through the slave transition, we can't get it together, because it's innately in the back of our heads in the back of our minds that we can't do it. We can do it.
Yeah, PTSD.
Yeah. And that should be a diagnosis for us. Yeah, we got it. We suffer from it every day. When you go outside in your community and your next door neighbor got shot in the head because he had a new car and he posted his money on Instagram saying that he was doing great, and 2 dudes saw it and went behind him and shot him in the head just to get the $3,000 or $4,000 that he had in his possession, because they think they can't get the same thing that he had or she has, and they kill him. The have-nots and the haves and the have-nots. That's a system that's been set up, and we got to become the haves. We got to stop trying to say, oh, we can't do it. Yeah, we can do it overnight. Look, you have your own radio station, KIEZ 106.7. Black man, you know, in America. You got the airwaves where you can share information with people. That's why this is news that you can use. We talking about something. We ain't just jiving and shooting the bull crap, talking about man, how much money you won last night in the dice game. We ain't talking about that. We talking about an economic reality, a new normalcy for ourselves in this COVID-19. You heard what the word is? COVID-19. COVID means covert, undercover. Who named it that? COVID-19, undercover. This thing happened overnight. Come on, man. We got to start to think that they say if I can get my people to think, they can save their lives. And that's what we need to be doing. Sitting down at the round table, thinking about what's can happen for us as a group of people, and stop worried about what Jada Pickett and them doing. We worry about what celebrities doing. You know, it's bigger than that, bro. It's bigger than that.
Exactly right. Yeah, it's about leaving a legacy. It's about working together, because our children are right behind us, and they're definitely watching us. Don't think they're not watching us. And so what we do today, they're going to create a learned behavior. They're going to mimic them exact actions. Well, Brother Marcus, we put down a lot today, so we got to let the family know when we come to the roundtable and we E.A.T that we talked about credit, we talked about the evictions, and we talked about jobs, how important jobs are, and we spoke about a lot, talked about fake news, influences. So it's a lot, and this goes on each and every day of our lives. So when we receive information, as you always say, we have to evaluate all things. So we have to break it down in smaller parts and dissect it. Make sure that it's accurate and fact check it. Don't just accept it. Fact check that information.
Yeah. And I advise everybody out there listening to us under the sounds of our voice. Hey man, subscribe to the channel. Listen to the radio station, you know, KIEZ 106.7. News that you actually can use. Information is power. We have to utilize our power. Get knowledge. E.A.T all day. I'm out of here, man.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.